Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Boku no Hero Academia chapters 374, 375, and 376. At least those three. Don't know if I'll do more. Depends on how short they are, if they're like extremely short, because Hero Academia chapters can be kind of short sometimes. If they're extremely short, then I can do more. I heard the most recent chapter was only like 7 pages. I was gonna say, I really think we could be caught up by the end of the year. If the series doesn't end by then, I don't know how much longer it has left. No clue what's going on, but I feel like we're getting close. We're within we're within like 20, 25 chapters. So really only a few more months before we're got back up. If we do 3 chapters a week. But we could, again, if they're short, we could end up doing more. Either way, excited to read. I really loved the last 3. I feel like my last read through was one of the funnest I've done for Hero Academia in a long, long time. Even the one before that was incredibly fun too, though, but last week's was just so good. I really loved those chapters. I love the shoji stuff. As for what's happening now, Kurogiri just woke up, and I feel like it's going to go kind of like what I was predicting. I mean, it's not like I'm doing some big brain workout here. I was like, I think Spinner's going to get taken down, but in the process, Spinner's going to achieve what All For One set him out to do. So it's like, he takes the L of losing, but he also gets the big moment. He gets the at least somewhat of a win by letting Kurogiri escape. And then Kurogiri's escaping. We have Present Mike right here for some like childhood friend emotional character stuff, and then where he's going to be going to is where Aizawa is. And as much as I love Present Mike, let's face it, Aizawa's just the more important character of the two, and like he's been around, the main sort of character homeroom teacher. He's been through almost every arc he's played some role in at least, and it just feels like to me Kurogiri and Aizawa, like there are lots of series I read where I'm like, okay, this guy and this guy, they're definitely like endgame enemies for each other, or it's like, who's this guy's endgame, who's this guy's endgame. It really feels like Aizawa Kurogiri could be the endgame matchup. Doesn't necessarily have to be just a straight up 1v1 fight necessarily, but it seems like character wise those two having some sort of clash feels like an end point for each of their character arcs. And again, we had the both of them all the way from USJ both being involved, like, so yeah, just makes sense to me that way. But either way, I guess, I'll stop talking so much here at the beginning, because I know I always talk a bunch and discuss a bunch as we go through it. So let's see what we get with, chapter 374 starting us off. And we're starting off seeing Present Mike and Kurogiri, and it's number 374, Butterfly Effect. Alright, and now, gosh, that's a really nice looking panel. This huge plume over the whole city. Back to the present, Washington State, USA. Oh, we have weather. Okay, so that's interesting. Since I wonder if what's going on in Japan just all the way across the Pacific is going to have any effects. Also, are people going to be simping over Weather Lady? Because, I mean, hey. The massive cumulonimbus storm system that sprang up over Japan is growing at a rapid rate. It may ride east on the jet stream and affect weather in North America. According to the Weather Bureau, convection currents caused by repeated heat spikes have combined with a tropical low-pressure system in Japan's southwest to form an unprecedented type of enormous inferno cumulonimbus cloud. And we see all of the different things that have gone on with Dabi and Shoto and Endeavor. Can the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil really bring about a hurricane in Texas? Is the fate of our overpowered society, which began with a single glowing baby, to descend into utter chaos? Okay, so that's actually very interesting, because they said like quirks will keep getting more powerful until it's basically quirk apocalypse time. Which kind of leads me to think, what if the end game of the series is going to be that everyone ends up quirkless? So then when everyone ends up quirkless, it's just this like great equalizer, and it's like heroes, I don't know, heroes can be like Izuku without a quirk or whatever. So like everybody hits the point that Izuku was at the beginning of the series. It kind of makes me feel like that might be the way the series is heading for the ending. Something like All For One, or maybe Izuku tapping into one for all and all for one or something, just takes everyone's quirks or something. Something like that could be a potential thing, but then it's like, what happens to the heteromorphs then? But either way, moving along. Just something I've been thinking about. I don't know if I'd be super satisfied with that kind of ending. It depends on how Horikoshi does it, but I could see that being the kind of thing they're going for. The power of a single man can change the world. Meryl, what's with the ad-libbing? I stand firmly opposed to the government's decision, no, the world's decision, to pander to All for One. Cut to commercial, quick. Crap, she's already said it. And now we see Japan. Kamino Ward, Todoroki subdued Dabi. And talk about firepower, we get to see Burnin. Even you'll be burned by that. You mustn't engage him again. You've already hit your limit with your phosphor move, says Ida, trying to pull back Todoroki Shoto. I keep wanting to call him Todoroki, then I'm like, I need to be more specific. We all hit our limits, and then some. We gave it everything, and yet, he's the only one still standing. Even though I share our father's blood too, only Toya's able to keep going. And again, I like the cross of flames over his chest, similar to Endeavor's. Dear old dad's at Gunga, huh? Way too far away. They really screwed us splitting us up with those portals. If I keep duking it out with Shoto in the hope of bringing Dad a parting gift, my body won't last. And he changes his attention. He's trying to fly over to our father. This goes way beyond powering through with that sheer will he's inherited, thinks Burnin. It doesn't make sense. I thought his body wasn't made for heat. How the hell is he not falling to pieces? Get back here, I'm still on my feet. You want to kill me, right? Looks like you're the half-baked one now. And Shoto's trying to keep his attention. Ahem, Mr. Daddy Issues. I know, I said no pestering, but I have fantastic news. Apparently, you get to travel free of charge. Oh? And is that Kurogiri opening up? I'm not 100% sure. Sorry if I'm being stupid. And then, UA High, Midoriya versus All for One. The wind's really picking up. My control over the water might slip, says Manuel. Are you hanging in there, Monoma? This battle will go down the history books right. I'll make sure the Ministry of Education points out that we won here because of me. In that cage, we've got Edgeshot, Lemillion, Genist, and Midoriya fighting for all of us. I'd be a fool to whine about the measly need to blink. The experience of one's youth determines the entirety of one's life. And more than anything else, yeah, Kurogiri opens up. I place faith in a person's emotions. And we see Present Mike being brought through behind as well. Okay, so Present Mike's actually going to be here for Kurogiri and Aizawa stuff. Aizawa looks back. The feelings he harbors for his friends after leading such a dark life. Gunga Mountain, Village Ruins, Endeavor versus All for One. You kept Kurogiri in the dark, so to help him take immediate action, I planted a micro-device in one of Shimura's hands. Yes, Igashi played his part, and we see the gates open up behind Endeavor. Man, that Endeavor face is so good. That's such a good panel. Heya, Dad. What's more? Oh, Hawks. And we have twice copies coming through? Man, this just makes me sad. Like, I don't know, just let him rest. Let him have some peace. The death of that sad, sad man gave rise to rancor in a young woman's heart. The man who would overrun the world to make good on his grudges gave that femme fatale just the tools she needed to bring ruin to all. Oh, she could use his blood to just make copies. Now you've got a front row seat, Takumi. Time to learn how it might have turned out if you hadn't made his death your top priority back then. Kill them right now, says Hawks. And then, man, this is so good. I like this chapter. I like when we kind of get chapters like this and stuff where we jumped around to like recap what's happening at all the different places. And it's really good right now. Like, Hero Academia, I think, is like, at least the past dozen or so chapters I've been reading here have been really good. Like, Horikoshi's been cooking here. I don't know, again, I don't know how things are going to go in the future since I am like 20 some behind, but like, this is really good. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and continue on reading. I think it's really cool how, like I mentioned before, with the quirks getting more and more powerful and it potentially being quirk apocalypse, how we're seeing effects of that already, where we have worldwide weather systems being affected by what's happening just from basically 3 people, just from Endeavor, Toya, and Shoto's quirks. But either way, we got more to read. Let's read 375 before I continue. And flipping the chapter over, actually, we see at the very start, it's Tsuyu and Toga. Like, we haven't seen this part of it in forever. Okuto Island, Uraraka and Asui versus Toga. Yeah, we haven't seen this in forever, and gee, why do they always make Tsuyu so thick? Damn. Number 375, Chaotic Confusion. Froppy. And then it looks like Uraraka is able to crash into Toga. Her trick for concealing her presence is basically a type of misdirection. Still, it must be a complex and nuanced move, so there's got to be a limit to how many attackers she can evade at once. Smart. And again, I really like that, because I feel like I talked about it a couple chapters ago, maybe, where Uraraka, I just feel like, was so cool at the beginning of the series, like, through maybe the... Gosh, what is it? Through maybe the, like, sports festival. Like, her fight with Bakugo was amazing. But then after that, she does pretty much nothing. She's part of one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite panels in the entire manga during the Liberation War. But even then, it's like, she barely does anything. So I really am glad to see some character stuff, to see some action, to see a fight for Uraraka, and I hope we get some good character stuff with her here, because again, I like her, I want to like her, but I've just been, I don't know, a little bit bummed out that we haven't gotten even more. Keep on her with a sensor type hero, and a group of at least 4 who can back each other up. Himiko Toga, get back here. This big guy doesn't have hyper regen, and we see Gang Orca fighting one of the Nomu as well. And then the villain's numbers are thinning too. Pin down the near high end, and we've got this in the bag. Taking down these creeps while they're still on this island is our mission. The more people we lose on our side, the slimmer my chances of avoiding capture become, thinks Toga. And the amount of Jean's blood I've got will only give me 30 to 40 minutes of transformation time. Sure, I could drink it down now and take back the numbers advantage, but then Sadman's parade would end on this isolated island. Up until this point, Himiko Toga's actions were rarely driven by any sort of big-picture strategizing. Even if we could turn things around here, I doubt they'd left any boats or boats docked on the island, which would be our only shot at getting away. Divide and isolate. Did the heroes know about Jean's blood? Either way I'm helpless here, and the way things are going, it's all over. However, in that case, her rancor, and recent coming to terms, I'll do what I'm meant to do, and bet on Spinner. So again, we have everybody trusting in their friends and betting on Spinner. And I mentioned it before, I think during the Liberation War, where it's just so hard to root against the villains because Horikoshi did such a great job with them as characters. We're like, I really feel for Spinner. I really feel for Toga. I really feel for Shigaraki. It's like, All for One's an actual jerk. Dabi is also kind of bad. I don't feel all that sorry for Dabi. He was like just kind of an asshole. So it's like some of them I feel not as sorry for, but most of them are like really sympathetic. I think Twice was legitimately one of, if not the kindest characters in the series. So it's really hard to like root against the villains, especially when it's like, I talked about how light the development had been for Uraraka, and comparatively, I feel like Toga's been through a lot more. With the Villain Academia arc, with the Liberation War, and losing Twice, I just feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel more for Toga in a way. And then completed her transformation into a full-fledged villain. There it is. Some blood she had saved. All for One's, Shigaraki's. Whose could it be? Better not. Wait around to find out. And Tsuyu breaks the vial. Always so level-headed, Tsuyu. That was a decoy. A decoy filled with a chemical that attracts Nomu, courtesy of All for One. And the Nomu turns its attacks to Tsuyu. Froppy, to make sure that Jin's parade gets to march without fail. Oh? I'll have to make an instant decision. Oh, she copied Tsuyu for a moment. To, like, at least buy herself some time, I guess. From Uraraka, that rancor brought about a miracle. And we see Sad Man's parade starting and Kurogiri arriving. Must save Shigaraki and his allies. Himiko Toga, what do you want to do? To slaughter the heroes, starting with Hawks. Send me out there, Kurogiri. Get back here. And Uraraka tries to chase behind, but they swat away her ropes. We still haven't had our chat about romance. Ochako? I wish we could have. Man, again, I feel bad for so many of the villains. I feel awful for Jin, who isn't really here. I mean, the clones are just because of Toga. Last chapter, I thought that they had just saved some clones somehow or something. But, I don't know, I feel awful for him, like in what happened to him. I feel terrible for Toga. I feel horrible for Shigaraki, but Izuku's trying to save him. I wish we could have. That's really sad. Gunga Mountain Villa Ruins. It's Toga with Bubaigawara's blood. She had some saved up. When I infiltrated the Liberation Army, I was sure to eliminate every last sample, even the traces after the battle. Was this Dabi's doing? Too late. And then, infinite doubles, Sad Man's parade. And we have just waves. Man. And we get to see Kinoko as well. They're not giving us a second to breathe, Shroom. And then, I ain't losing sight of you. Not again. And Tsuyu and Uraraka were able to come through. I like this. Leaving them in, like, the main fighting areas. Because we've kind of tightened in to now there's only 2 main fighting areas. Because, I mean, are we really gonna care about, you know, Burnin hanging around? She's really that's like a real side character. That's a true side character. Are we really gonna care about seeing how, you know, Gang Orc is gonna fight this near high end? I feel like with Toga gone, he can take him. Things have changed. Now we're in 2 areas. We're at the All for One in his group area, and we're at the, well, also All for One, but in Shigaraki's body, in his area. So it's like we have 2 fronts going on. Things have really, the focus is tightened in. And we see, oh, Tsuyu. It looks like she's going to throw her through, actually. Ochako, the feelings you've locked up inside. And we see Dabi and Endeavor. Man, Endeavor's so cool. Dabi and Endeavor. Benjamin Button All for One. Ochako. Hawks. And we see, again, the shot at the end is so odd of the weather lady. Is it supposed to be there to keep reminding us that things are going bad, or is she actually important? Yeah, it's like, is she actually important, or is this just a continual reminder of their quirks potentially causing huge problems across the world? But it seems like Ochako might be getting thrown through. I thought that Tsuyu was actually going through with her, but it seems like it might just be Ochako coming through. And of course, I feel like Shoto's gotta, well, it just feels weird if Shoto's fight with Dabi was just the end for Shoto, and he's not going to come get involved in the Dabi and Endeavor stuff. Don't know how he gets here. Maybe he went through the portals too, or maybe Ida's just going to Ultra Recipro and, like, yeet him over super speed or something. Because it also, something else that feels weird to me, I thought, because I mentioned recently I was, like, rewatching the anime through watching a reaction series to it, and one thing I thought about while watching that reaction series, I was like, how does My Hero Academia have a speedster? You know, common thing in superhero universes. We have a speedster. We have Ida. And I feel like Ida's probably not even, like, top 5 fastest guys that we know of. I look at Ida and I'm like, you know, even Bakugo might be faster. I'm like, Izuku's definitely got to be faster, right? And then there's, like, I feel like there's Hawks. Hawks is pretty fast. We've got All for One. Definitely seems like he should be. I'm just like, how is our speedster, like, when I think of fast characters in Hero Academia, he's not even really up there for me. But maybe he does something cool like gets Shoto over here. But either way, let's just move on and read 376. Now we get to finish out the video with 376 and we get a color cover. I think it's whenever we get these, they're usually the character poll. So I mean, Bakugo's holding up one finger, he's always number one, so that's probably it. We got Endeavor, great to see him here, my favorite character probably. Ida made it, Denki made it somehow, I don't know why he always ranks so highly, I don't really get it. You got Shoto, makes sense, Kirishima, my second favorite character, also makes sense, Izuku, obviously the main character, Ochako, good for her, Aizawa, great for him, and I think that's Hawks? Pretty sure that's Hawks in the back. So yeah, we have number 376 on Knife's Edge. We still haven't. And then had our chat about romance. And we see the Sad Man's Parade. And then, I'm not some blushing schoolgirl in love anymore. Oh wait, can't take... Okay, I thought that was a double page spread, never mind. Can't take a hint. I'm not some blushing schoolgirl in love anymore. And then we have Hra as the huge mass of Twice clones comes in. Again, really? I can't spread my spores with all this fire shroom. And we have Kamui Woods. Again, Kamui Woods I feel like I wish we got to see more of, running around with Kinoko. Get those tied up villains out of here or they'll still burn to a crisp. And there's the one wolf guy whose name I forget because he was never... Like, he never really got that much attention. You got that, hero? Fall back for now. Get behind my earthen wall. Okay, this was actually... Like, this flows together. Oh, that's so cool. Get behind my earthen wall. We have, freaking Ryuko. What's her name? Her hero name. Pixie Bob. So cool. I love the Pussycats. And then... Like, I feel like the more I go back through and reread the series, the more I just like the Pussycats even more. Even if they were like, oh, I liked them before, I just like them more every time I reread or rewatch. Not just Kurogiri. Dabi's here too. I hope Todoroki and Shoji are okay. And then Uravity, Froppy, and we're seeing Tokoyami and Kyoka. Tsukiyomi, earphone jack? Okay, so actually, Tsuyu did make it through herself. Okay, I was right the first time. That's great. I'm glad that she didn't just get sidelined. The battle is doomed to devolve into chaos. Okay, and so if we get... Like if Shoji and... Gosh, because Shoji was with Koda. If they are somehow able to make it to one of the two fronts, if Shoto and Ida, because they were together, if they can make it, we can kind of start collecting the class together to have the whole class together toward the finale, which would be really cool. The battle's doomed to devolve into chaos. Oh no, Kyoka, your ear. I count myself lucky that's all that Demon Lord took from me. Since the Twice army came out of the same warp gate as you two, I'm guessing that's actually Toga. All of Japan will be buried unless we stop her, but Dabi's raging heat is far too fierce. Toga keeps multiplying despite the fire, so all we can do is flee. This is no proper battle, not anymore. The strategy to divide and conquer has failed, and we see Endeavor getting overwhelmed on all sides by a bunch of Twices, while Dabi spews heat in front of him. Those flames on his chest, is that the phosphor move Shoto mentioned? Toya, what'd you do to Shoto? I was hoping to bring you his head, but he was a tough cookie. Now my grand dream will never come true, but at the very least, I'll take as much as I can, whatever you hold dear, whatever you try to protect. And then we just have a hit coming from, like, Benjamin Button all for one. The wind now blows my way, cascading chains of events. They're all working in my favor. Kurogiri probably warped himself to Tomura's location. Optimally, I would have obtained that long-range warp quirk for myself, since it's superior to my imperfect sludge warp. Not that it matters, I'll ride this wave of chaos, and get myself to Tomura. And he tries to run away. And it looks like Hawks is going to attempt to stop him. Oh, Hawks, you should face up to Bubaigawara's dying wish. We know that the rewind effect puts you on a timer, but you sure seem in an awful hurry, pal. What, don't you have faith in Shigaraki, that perfect body of yours? And then, so discerning. In the truest sense, that body's not yet complete. There's a reason why this version of me is still essential. Endeavor. The divide and conquer plan's a bust. Our allies can't battle in this nasty heat, and if we fall here, the villain's gonna converge on Deku and Tomada. Please put a stop to Toya. And of course, because, like, Hawks is the guy, Hawks is like, just kill him. Like, Hawks is like, I'm a hero, but I'm not afraid to kill people. Well, we need to murder these guys. Such a cruel command for that one-armed, half-conscious fellow. So, as you so nicely put it, defeating me post-haste is his mission, yet you tell him to abandon his duty. That's enough bullcrap out of you. After all, you already lost once to our number one. He ain't abandoning any duty. Splitting hairs, I see. And Toya's rushing in. Duty. This time around. I'm really seeing you. And we end on, like, Horikoshi draws so many amazing panels of Endeavor's face. It's like, well, what do we need again this chapter? Another high detail panel of Endeavor's face. Oh well. That was a really great 3 chapters, though. Again, I have come around on this arc fully. I love this arc now. And, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I really like this arc. I really like the sort of general goings-on of these 3 chapters. Sorry I keep getting kind of distracted. My computer's been awful for a while now, so I'm just having to constantly fight with it while trying to record. But hopefully things turned out alright. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you all for sticking through it with me. We are nearly 400 chapters in. I'm excited to get caught up. Like I said, it seems like it's really not even going to be that much longer. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of these 3 chapters, what you thought of my first thoughts and reaction. This is just the first thoughts and reaction. If you want to talk more, we totally can. Yeah, let's talk in the comments. If you want to talk on Twitter, we can. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. And if you want to help support the channel, help me to keep making videos somehow, try to afford a new computer. Super thanks would be appreciated, but if you want to get something more out of it yourself, you can get One Piece early, or you can get a shout out at, and you can get a shout out at the end of every single video. If you join down below and become a channel member, or go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description, and become a patron. Yeah, either way, either one works, whatever is best for you. It really does help support the channel and helps me keep going. But either way, thank you to people who are patrons and members, as I mentioned before. Thank you to Chosen Regulars, Evan Hawley, Magical Girl, F.R. Nono, Huarian and Smeller Dog, Cherryton Student, David Langstaff, and Slayer Kindred SG. Massive thank you to all of them for all of their support. Massive thank you to all of you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.